Welcome to the Reflector Reflections podcast, where we journey through the kaleidoscope of human design, gene keys, astrology, metaphysics, all the things. In this special series, we're shining a spotlight on the inspiring voices of the human design community right here around the world. Together, we'll celebrate the incredible work they do while diving into how they experiment and navigate their unique design. Today, I am joined by the wonderful Kat, and Kat is a 4/6 manifestor with emotional authority. She also has the right angle cross of Eden, is a human design educator, shamanic practitioner, peaceful role model. I love how you wove that in with your 4/6. Welcome, beautiful soul.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. Wow. Yeah, that is me. That's so beautiful. Thank you. Yeah, it's super nice to be here.
It's lovely to have you. And I know that, Kat, you are Australian, but you are coming to us from overseas where you've been living for some time. So it's kind of still like the Aussie hour, I feel, like just...
Oh, that's nice. I have to burst your bubble just a little, though, because I'm actually a Kiwi.
Well, isn't it? I shouldn't say that. We're cousins then, right?
Yeah. I've been in Europe now for 3 years. For sure, we are cousins. From this side of the world's perspective, we're pretty much the same thing. So let's just go with that.
Yeah, I know. Thank you for correcting me. I'm like, yeah. So you can hear it. You can hear a touch, but I thought, oh, maybe it's because you're living overseas for so long. Anyway.
I lived in Australia a really long time. I have massive connections there. Don't get me wrong. I would still call it home. They're both home. It's all home now. I travel so much. Anyway. Yeah, I'm really enjoying your Aussie accent, just as a side note, because it's been a long time since I was back.
It just feels like home. You know, sometimes when you travel and you're on the flight going home and you just can't wait to get home. I don't know if you've experienced that, or even, you know, if you're traveling internationally and you're coming back into Australia and then you hear the pilot start talking, and if you're like, familiarity.
Yeah, I mean, I actually had that recently with the UK just for speaking English. Like, that was enough for me. I was sitting in the back of the black taxi in London, which is not my natural environment, and talking to the actual cabbie, like being able to have a full conversation. And it was, even just that, languages. It's been a long time since I lived in an English-speaking country, let alone Australia.
I could imagine. Because it's sometimes when you get in the taxis here and it's like, hey, going, love, where can I take you? And you're like, oh, my God, I'm home. Do you have a good trip?
Portuguese to the guy in London. I was like, hola. Oh, wait a minute. How do I do this?
Where am I in the world?
I'm not the best at this at all. Anywho.
Well, beautiful. So I'd like to kind of get us into it, if that's okay with you. And I want to ask let's take us back. How did you find human design, or human design find you?
Oh, God. It feels like so long ago. I'm wondering how this is going to come out of my mouth. And also, partially, I also feel like I've told this story. Yeah, anyway, judging myself. Hello, mind, already. Human design did find me, that's for sure. I was not looking. I thought I didn't need anything at that stage of my life. I was good. And human design found me actually in Bali. I was at a breathwork retreat, a really quite intensive 10-day breathwork retreat. And there was an open-throated projector there that was running around, having just been initiated into human design himself and telling everyone everything they needed to know. And he shot this arrow at me that just really hit. And it was just, those very first simple things like, whoa, you're a manifestor and you're a pure individual and you're not supposed to do what you're told, or just something and I was like, how did you know? And it really... it was a moment. It was a real moment.
Wow.
I was shocked. That's the rest is history.
What did you do then? Obviously, it's like, you can't stop the story there. And then what happened?
Are you sure? Do you really want to know?
I'm just sitting here going, but then what happened? I often wonder, when someone kind of like throws these, I love that shot an arrow, especially being a projector, shot an arrow at me. It's, you read some of this language and it's like, and yours is like, aura is repelling, closed and repelling. And you kind of like, you identify, but at the same time, you're like, how dare they?
Yeah.
Is that for you?
Yeah. The thing that really got me, because as well as being a manifestor and emotional, and it's the pure individual that actually I think is the like icing on the cake for me. Like I am a wildly different kind of monstrous creature, really. And like he wouldn't have said that. And I'm cool with that now, to be clear. I'm cool with that now. But whatever, let me just think. Yeah, what he said was like it was all of that. It had that imprint came into me, like you are, you're built for things you've never dreamt of, like it was very, and I honestly, I felt seen. Of course, maybe the mind was a bit like back off, dude. But yeah, I actually felt seen. I felt like, how does he know that? Because I'm doing a really good job at being nice. I'm like amazing and supportive and wonderful and a beautiful friend. And you're telling me I'm a monster? How does he know? It's kind of like that. And yeah, I mean, that still is both sides of who I am. I'm a 4/6. I'm emotional. I can be absolutely glorious. I'm like chocolate icing. I'm beautiful, wonderful, like sprinkles, And then, of course, there's this manifestor that's also sitting there being manifestory.
Yeah. I am lion, dragon, hear me roar. I love it.
Yeah, I must, or I won't be peaceful. It's choiceless. So yeah. I mean, there is more to the story. Do you really want a little bit of the ending? It's a good story.
I really do. Yes, please.
Well, I'm not sure. I'll skip. No, let's see. Well, the good bit of the story is that, how to say it? I mean, I naturally invited this guy off the back of that. Like, I didn't know he didn't tell me anything about himself or what a projector was. But I mean, it was sort of it was actually going into lockdown times in Australia. We all like got our phones back after this very deep retreat, and the world was going into lockdown. So there was a lot of chaos going on. But through all of that chaos, I was logged on to this guy. I was like, he's going to tell me more. And I mean, borderline harassed him, I reckon. I really went after him, which is hilarious. He ended up coming and living at my house. We ended up getting to know each other a whole lot better. He ended up coming and living at my house. He is now my beloved partner, just so you know. He was the one.
Love story.
It's a love story. It's a manifestor projector love story, which is all the colors of the rainbow, as you can imagine. Yeah, we are still on that journey together. It's kind of beautiful. And all the things. Yeah, so you like it, don't you?
We were just saying, off air about surprise and delight. These are the things that, as a reflector type, these light me up. It's like, okay, I didn't know the story was going there. And then all of a sudden it does. And I'm like, it's hard to kind of surprise.
It's not usually how you meet your romantic partner.
Did you get, I have to know, did you get caught in Bali with the lockdown, or were you able to get home?
Some of the crew did get stuck there, still live there now. Yeah. But we managed to get home. So we were both living in Australia, far from each other. And I mean, the sad part of the story is that we were like hard and fast, really got to know each other, and we're completely like besotted with each other. But he's actually Norwegian. And during the lockdown, or just before the lockdown, he had booked a flight to come home to see his mum, who he hadn't seen in 9 years or something ridiculous. And then we got separated and locked down for like nearly 2 years. So, I mean, yeah, the story does continue. For those 2 years, these were so like torturous. That's the first word that I have to say. Really, really, they were the crazy times, right? We didn't get to see each other, but we also got to remain out of aura. we also both got so isolated in our own separate lives, but we were talking twice a day, and we were completely in on the experiment. And so like both of us had just absolutely radically kind of pushed each other into it, held each other accountable. And then we got separated, and yeah, we were kind of accountability romantic buddies for that whole lockdown period. And then by the time I managed to get out of Australia and go to Norway, it was like, yeah, we really actually got to decondition to a level before we came back, and then we got to navigate what is relating correctly. And that's been that's a lot of what I talk about in my work. What is relating correctly? Relationships. Hello, it's a can of worms. But yeah, it's been quite a journey. Good. Yeah.
I really, oh my God, it gives me tingles to have that experience with somebody. To find this out, to connect, but then have to decondition, because that's like, there's something really wholesome about that just echoes in my being of going, because a lot of the time when we find this as well, we're still trying to manage our current life. We're still trying to do all the things as well as understand how this works. So in essence, I could imagine that what happened to you, as challenging as that is, it's like an express lane, there's a massive express lane there. It's just going, here you go, VIP straight to the.
Absolutely. I just feel like the Maya had that, obviously choicelessness, that was what was in store for us. But yeah, when I reflect on that, I just go, yeah, what a blessing. It was, you can imagine, it was absolute madness, full chaos, through all of that madness and the torture of not being together and a myriad of other things, because we both have lives in other capacities as well, but to be navigating that kind of just alongside each other as we were doing that really intense part of the deconditioning process, and then to be able to come back together and then figure that out, what does this mean? Yeah, express lane. I love that. For sure. I actually often do reflect and with clients on, navigating family dynamics when you are in the beginning of your deconditioning. I didn't really have to do that. So I actually find myself at a bit of I'm not really sure how that is. What I am sure of, it would take longer. Yeah, we have managed to be these really kind of crazy radicals, and it's just been our journey, not right or wrong, but it's been something. That's for sure. Yeah.
And that brings me back, and I just would like to ask you from your words, I won't speak for you here. Can you explain to this audience what it means to be a pure individual? Because some people are still not really understanding that.
Yes, sure. But I just have to do this first. Okay, we're good. What it is to be a pure individual. Yeah, I mean, individuality is it's so crazy. You're inviting me to be myself here, right? I have to. Mm-hmm. I mean, I guess the main thing that comes up is that for pure individuals, all of us, we live in a tribal frequency at the moment. We have our whole lives, and for generations gone by, lived in a world that is tribal. And that means loving thy neighbor and following the 10 commandments and being, I said commandments, that's you. Sorry. All of the ways that the world is structured to give and take and handshake and hug and money exchange, and all of the ways that it's very hard to see outside that there's another possibility for humans. All of that, pure individuals don't have that naturally in them. So I don't have that naturally in me. My whole life, I watch that, and the first thing that comes to, that I always say about it, that the first kind of, I just missed the memo. I feel like my whole life I've missed the memo. Oh, okay, that means, One of the very most simple examples is that I still am now correctly, but I'm the kind of person pre-human design that would go out for coffee with a friend, and they would pay kindly, and I would go, that's amazing, thank you so much. And then the next time it would be completely, I don't know how to do fairness. I've just completely forgotten, because time for an individual person is just in the now. And so I'm a bad friend. That makes me a bad friend in the tribal homogenized world. It just means we don't fit in. And it also means that we're bringing something totally different and something new, and that we're actually here to see. I sort of see it as like, we get to see this kind of potential and this possibility for something to be a little different, and growth and transformation is just like, that's what we're really here for. We're here to light a match, really. And in the world, that doesn't always go down that well. So we can get to feel really isolated. But I love it now. Yeah. How's that?
That's great. And I just know, even in my family dynamic here, I don't, because I'm quite collective and tribal, but my son, extremely tribal. But then I've got a extremely individual projector daughter. So right. I see this, and it's been eye-opening for me, because clearly I'm a reflector, but if you look at my chart, I'm more built for collective and tribal energy. There's not much individuality there.
Yeah.
But then when I look, so it's like you can sort of only see life sometimes through your own lens. And so or suddenly when someone comes at you with a different energy, you're like, why aren't you like me? What's going on here? And I see a lot of people with this, even you were saying we're quite radical, and they're not met with that acceptance, because it's kind of like, oh, you're not like me. Why aren't you fair and equal and sharing? And so, I see this, and it's really fascinating. And I'm like, look at you living your life in accordance with how you feel you need to live your life. And then I watch people like yourself. It's like you're using that word role model. It's inspiring, and it allows us to kind of collapse some more of that conditioning of people pleasing, of doing all these things, to go, it's okay for me to want what I want. Sorry, I just went off on a tangent there, but I've seen it.
Awesome.
I've seen it so much, and it's been jarring, but also over the last 10 years, but also, look at you. That's actually really inspiring, like reframing it. And now I know more. I can do better.
I mean, isn't that the whole purpose of this work? Yeah. And I cannot tell you how many layers there are that I keep noticing of I start to just see, this is just humans. We all have this tendency to assume the other is seeing things the way we are. And so, of course, as a pure individual manifestor, I mean, come on. My whole life I've been assuming, come on, you see it this way, don't you? No one ever sees it my way. But also that's coming at me, why aren't you seeing it this way? And so, I mean, on some level, we're all doing that, I guess is what I mean to say. On some level, we're all doing that. Oh, hang on, you're different. And then when we learn human design, you're different. Ooh, I love that.
Instead of it goes to ooh. We just get body language, don't we?
Totally.
Ooh and ooh.
Yeah, it becomes amazing and exciting and surprising for you, right? And for me, it feels like relief. This is that the first feeling I had in my body when my beautiful projector, not so beautiful at the time, cut me deep like that, was actually relief. And that still is, when I see others as who they are and get that, it's what is the conditioning just feels tight and tense, like we're holding on to something. It's so much more of a beautiful experience when we don't have to do that. And it's awesome to hear that you've had to touch in on that individuality. I love that you've done that.
The resistance is real, friend,
Real.
Yeah, just we were just saying there before as well. It's that's, I think, the biggest thing that we can all face is just we resist something, we resist change, and we don't mentally. We want to accept all these things, but it's still kind of stuck. And so we're just hitting a wall all the time instead of just going, relax.
Yeah.
Just relax.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
You're, may I ask, and personal question you don't have to answer, what type of projector is your beloved?
He is, well, he's got both other frequencies. So he's an emotional projector with collective and tribal. So yeah, we basically have every emotional stream between us and nothing else. Just imagine.
That's what I wanted to know, and I thought, it'd be interesting if he's also emotional, because it's something that you're going to speak on a lot, and I know that you're very passionate about it, coming from that, because it is your only channel in your design. About how has that journey been for you with that emotional authority? Oh, where do we start?
Kind of worms there. I mean, I feel like even like everything about me now, I can, like, I watch even like this, like my body move. I can tell that like, like I'm watching myself like, oh my God, like I'm just oozing it. Like there's no way out. I mean, where to start? Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess at the beginning, like, I guess to say that, yeah, I am an emotional being. Yeah, it's been amazing to journey with the other streams of emotionality as well. So I really have a very good context, I feel, of what is all of the emotionality. But yeah, I mean, I have always been emotional, like I have many stories of being the child that didn't stop crying. And I mean, I started in like the personal development realms when I was 19 because I was emotional. Like that's what it was. And I guess to say like what that means to me is that, yeah, this it felt like this world wasn't built for me as an emotional person. We're taught from day one to shush, shush, shush. Is that what we do to babies? Like, you've got to go to school. Don't cry. I mean, how does someone like me get through a day without crying? That's just real. And so I guess, yeah, like my whole adult life, I've been journeying with that in so many different ways. And I mean, you can go read a bio somewhere. I'm not going to tell you all of my history right now, but there's not many things I haven't done to ease my emotionality. And what human design brought me is this new awareness around the last pieces of it not being a problem, being completely acceptable and completely okay. Before human design, I was in that world anyway. I was in the somatics and embodiment and all of the realms, and so there was a level of I'm okay with this. But it was still put into a container. In all of those spaces, you'll find, I'm sure people relate to this. In all of those emotional spaces, there's always a container. Now, what the are we containing? You can't contain this. This is always on. It's either high or it's low, but it's always flowing. And like human design, yeah, I mean, it's just helped me embrace that. It's always happening. It's always high. It's always low. It's always different. There's absolutely no truth in any moment. I don't make a decision. I just don't make decisions anymore. They just happen to me, really. I realize that sounds sort of kooky in the beginning of this journey, but I have new awarenesses about that every day. I go, oh my God, it's going to be amazing. Like I'm coming to Australia, and when I'm there, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. And I'm like, and then a week later, like, maybe I'm not coming for a month later than that. And maybe it's not going to be that good. And that's real. Like that is my life. That's what it is to be an emotional person. And if you are emotional, you have the solar plex defined, and if you're not aware of that, then there's a lot of, stuffing that down. Not wanting to show emotion is one thing, but not understanding it. It's everything. It's everything about you as an emotional person. And it's a full different operating system from an open solar plex. And we really are we're just not taught that, not shaming or blaming. It's just, it's in the unknown until it's not. It's amazing. It's like creative and artistic and beautiful and powerful, like phenomenal. But it is definitely in the beginning not accepted and can be quite difficult to navigate. Yeah.
And thank you for sharing that, because I'm just going to cough. Excuse me.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that, because I've really explored children through this big lens of mine, through my own parenting journey. And I watch them now because I do work a lot with families, and how there was more suppression. I think parents are doing a much better job of it now, because as we're awakening. Yeah. But I do watch a lot of that deconditioning from us that have been shushed, and no fault of our parents entirely, because they're only doing what they knew how to do. But I do watch these children now in the schoolyard or in the homeschooling environments, and they are phenomenal to watch, because they're kind of allowed a little bit more to be who they are. And there's such a self-assuredness with these little people coming into the world. And it literally just makes my heart sing. So for us, though, that have been kind of had to suppress, we've kind of had to unravel a lot more. And seeing that, we're up to around 70% now of kids are emotionally defined. It's huge, isn't it? Huge percentage.
My children are actually both not emotionally defined. So they got a beautiful lesson in what is emotionality from the other perspective, from the wisdom keeper's perspective. Yeah.
How was that journey, becoming a mum?
Yeah. I mean, my main reflection through the human design lens on my parenting is that because of, the other part of emotionality is this deepest awareness, right? And, I didn't come into human design until my youngest was 17. And a lot of, obviously there's been a lot to unpack. And in a perfect world, I would have had this when they were born, no doubt. But the beautiful thing about it is that I've been able to, most of my reflection is, oh my gosh, I intuitively, or it's not really intuition, is it? But my emotional awareness, for the most part, treated them so correctly. Because it is who they are, right? And really you just have to come at your parenting with be who you are as the intention. And I did, and they're wildly different, obviously, from me and each other. And one of my funny stories, now that I know design and know how wildly emotional I am, and they're not, one of the things I laugh at is I used to put myself in a timeout. It was always, it was so obvious to me that it was me. And so always if things got chaotic in the house, and it wasn't necessarily me being chaotic, but if there was chaos in the house, I would always remove myself. And I just think that's so, I look back at younger version of me parent and just think, wow, that was smart. I was bringing the emotional chaos, and yeah.
You're also initiating to get out.
Yeah. Mommy needs a time out now, you guys. Can you get to just play? And then I would, whatever is required, safely in my own space. And we're back. Yeah. I didn't know design then. I had a lot of emotional awareness and had done a whole lot of work in other realms. So I had that. But now knowing the mechanics, that's just the best thing to do. Amazing. Yeah.
The not self theme of the manifestor, anger. Would you describe your life as being very angry? Did you identify with that, or it was more suppressed because of the emotions?
I had in the first months of my human design experiment, I had a realization as I went into a place of pain, where I really held myself in it and looked at it and was, in grief, really depressed. And I mean that in the sense of just really what that word means, suppressed. And as I went into it as deeply as I could, I had a really deep realization of actually that is suppressed anger. Yeah, I'm not sad. I am rageful.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I would say anger hasn't really shown up in my life very much. It has, but not very much. It took a lot for that lid to come off pre-human design. And so, yeah, I appreciate the question, because manifestors that come to me now often don't see themselves as angry beings. For sure, for me, I would have said, no, I'm so sweet.
Yeah.
which is also true. Don't get me wrong.
All pack it all down. Pack it.
Yeah, but in a way that we couldn't possibly be aware of. Yeah. You know, there's no way I would have resonated with that. But I love anger now. I actually really know. I've experimented very deeply with this idea that the anger of the manifestor is purposeful as well as the not self theme. Like, I am here to move stuff. And if you are in my way and it needs to be moved, I can move it with my anger, you know, like it does. Yeah. And that feels peaceful. That's a beautiful thing.
I have a lot of manifestors in my life. And I joke and I lovingly call my friends my Queen's Guard, because they, and just our friendship, how much it's grown over the last, 6 or so years of understanding them more. And oh my God, I just adore them. I sit back and I grin when I see them do that. I'm just like, you do you. I love that. Whereas, and there's always this beautiful little recognition every now and then of going, you don't shrink back from me when I say something direct or cutting. And I'm like, no, why should I? You know what I mean? It's like, I know what you mean. I know exactly what you're trying to say or what you're trying to do. So I'm just getting out of your way. There's a beautiful feeling between reflectors and manifestors. Sometimes it just feels it feels easy sometimes, most times actually. But I've got another friend and she does rage facilitation.
Oh, nice.
And I thought, what an interesting job. And when we got chatting more often because of the work she does, it became aware to me. And I'm like, this is cool. What's going on here? What's this person's qualifications? Let me run your chart. Sure enough. And I went, no one better to be facilitating a rage facilitation workshop than a deconditioning manifestor. And I thought, oh, look at that. Love it.
Yeah. We're in the right place. That's so nice. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, anger is I don't know who said this actually. I say this now, so I'll just claim it. The anger being the only emotion that can have you locked up. There is a real thing there. It's much more, and especially for a woman, I would say, much more socially acceptable to be depressed than to be angry. So yeah, it's a real place for us. Like, I don't want to gloss over it. It's real. But let's be careful not to label it bad. Like the conditioning immediately says, "Ooh, I'm afraid of anger." Like it's not real. Like, you're not going to hurt someone. You can be rageful. It's fine. Yeah.
I love what you were saying there before about this as well, about, emotions, and we're still going to places, to circle, to groups, and it's still kind of like, here we go, all emotions are accepted here, but it's still not truly being allowed out. It's still contained. I really love what you said there. I'm going to carry that because I've had I teach facilitation, and there's been, examples of that where a circle facilitator, one of the participants has been extremely emotional, and they've come and said to other teachers, "Oh my gosh, I wasn't in control of this group, and I feel like I've hurt this person." And the question I threw back to them was, were you worried because they were upset? Because they were upset, or you worried that they were upset because you felt that it was your problem? So I sort of remind them to sit with that, to go, all emotion is allowed. If you're going to say all emotion is allowed, allow it, because she probably wasn't triggered or wounded. She just needed a massive release. And a lot of the time the facilitator is the one that's got the problem, not the participant.
100%. It's facilitator. I can't tell you how many, I mean, I don't know, I'm going to be offensive now perhaps, how many shitty facilitators I have encountered in my life. Just, I mean, what is the saying? You can't take people further than you have been yourself. And yeah, I mean, people haven't done the work before they want to teach it. There's a lot of that going on, right? So yeah, so being triggered by that's just so hilarious to me. Sorry, like that thing of like all emotions are here, but then the facilitating getting triggered. No, not good, not okay. And that's why obviously she's in the training. And I don't mean any disrespect, but like that is problematic. That's, yeah, I mean, that's for someone like me being in a space like that, I'm always going to trigger the facilitator. Like always, because I have crisis in my personality sun. I'm going to absolutely shake the earth we are standing on, like look out. It's terrifying even to me. And so, I mean, imagine that as an experience and people offering safe space and then not actually being able to be the full expression of myself, even in the safe space. Like that's an emotional being. I mean, I would say potentially the emotional manifestor being experience. We get around, that's where we get the too much. That's why we get told, and the knowing that like, oof, I better keep a lid on this because people haven't been there and they're not built to, and that's no one's fault. But yeah, just to get that, if you're an emotional manifestor, that'll for sure be the experience. The facilitators I speak to, actually, I spoke to an emotional manifestor just this week. That was like, oh, that's what that is. Facilitators are shit. Like, yeah, real, right? I mean, yeah, it's
and
rough
with
out.
more and more of the emotional authority like coming through. It's you're preaching to my choir, friend, because this is something I get my back up about in my heretic kind of way of going, we need more emotionally and not just informed. We need them to be very receptive to hold, not even hold the space. That's just a wanky word, but to kind of like be a little bit more in their own emotions, to accept that there's a lot of emotional beings around. I don't know. I could go on and on about this.
Not be blown. Sorry, I'm doing the manifestor thing. Feels to me to not be knocked over. Like from my perspective, which is pure crisis, like I am the emotional of the emotional over here. Like from my perspective and my experience, what it takes is, really, it's not hold. It's the acceptance and it's nervous system stuff. Not everyone's built for it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't want to take too many issues on, but I will. Kate 18. Yeah, there's definitely like I've been in the personal development, healing spaces realms, like I said, since I was a teenager. And initially I got a lot out of that space. There's so much good work being done there. And then it kind of got cool. Then it kind of got cool. And then all of a sudden it was like, oh, no, it's actually not working anymore. You're actually managing to show up, to really actually show up. And I take issue. I will just do. Finished. End rant. Yeah.
Love.
Okay, good.
So just, I know we've been going for a while. Where are you now with you're in Portugal now?
Yeah.
Correct, yes. And you moved there. And what have you been doing there for these years? Oh, may I open up that can of worms?
If you dare.
I dare. I love it.
I bet you do.
All emotions are fine here.
We'll see. Oh God. Yeah. I mean, the true story is I've been following my strategy and authority. I have been fiercely committed to my authority, which is emotional. And that is not a small thing in a world of conditioned chaos. So yeah, what has happened in that? Well, after reuniting with my beautiful beloved, I then ejected from his aura again for 3 months, and just actually I ended up in Ireland where I have heritage, and I spent 3 beautiful months by myself running cacao ceremonies actually in this most beautiful, anyway, just fun, beautiful adventures, and very 460 meeting people and feelings, lots of feelings. And then, I mean, the biggest, most amazing thing that we have done, and there's still stuff going on in this space, is I have this really big push. I don't like to say urge because that's a bit collective for me, but I was told that I needed to get a bunch of people together to experiment in person, and I just watched that unfold. It's such a 4-way. I mean, it's such a cool story, and we probably don't have time for all of it. But basically, I just met someone who knew someone who met someone who knew someone. There's a perfect place to be, and all of a sudden, there's 5 people coming in. Here we are, and our beloved jokes that all I have to do is say "la," and everything just falls into place. That's not what it feels like on the inside, but I lard, and we lived for 7 months in this beautiful property in central Portugal with people coming and staying and coming and going. And we taught a lot of human design. I teach the Living Your Design Foundation program. We did retreats, and we fiercely, radically followed design, and it was chaos. And it was amazing. And we did a lot of, like sharing circles and, what else did we do? I mean, we just lived. Honestly, we just lived, but we lived under this very, it feels sort of right now, honestly, it feels a bit rigid to me, but we just took, the experiment was strategy and authority, which means things like this, right? I'm a manifestor. When I walk into a room, everyone gets just a little uncomfortable, aurically. I mean, some people think they don't, but that's thinking. So every time I walk into anywhere, I was having to beep, beep. That was the rule. And then we had little signs all over the house, beep, beep. And we had places to we basically were in a human design aura experiment at the same time as having to get our needs met in a house. And for me, I had this amazing experience of having this house full of people, that was kind of coming and going, but generally a house full of people that I could just initiate, experiment with. Let's go on a silent nature walk, and let's I want to do a thing, something's coming through me, and they were just all there, ready for it. It was pretty amazing. And we meant to go for about 3 months. At about 5 months, we really should have stopped. And by 7 months, I burnt out. So I learned my enough is enough lesson at the end of it. But I'm still, and I'm feeling much more recovered actually as I share this. I feel like, this is feeling good. My deepest desire and passion that always comes through is this, it's kind of, I'm touch cognition as well. Wow, that's so interesting how I said that. I am desire and passion. And I love to get people in a room and put them together in different places to experience themselves. And so, I had such a great time. And I've been doing that again now. I'm living currently in a community house where I have been teaching human design. It's not my house. So I've had this recovery zone. But of course, I'm teaching the design and running events and, touching in with people, getting the actual experience of it, not just nerding out, but playing. And how can we move better in the world in these vehicles that we have been gifted with? That's where I'm at.
I love it. Was
so it's amazing
because it's so different, and people don't know until they know of how unique it is to congregate in aura. And I'm just so inspired by that, to just go, we're just going to play. And why not? Why not? Life's for having fun.
You know what I discovered? Like I got a bit like, my mind got quite intimidated by like some of the people that wanted to show up in this space that we were holding in the house, who had been learning human design for many years. And then me having this expectation that they're just going to be so on point and like correct and like, and they got there and they've never experienced it. And like, I learned so much. I learned so much in that whole experience. And specifically, it really, really solidified this piece, which is, all right, like the knowledge is amazing. Like, of course, hands down. But if you don't experiment with it, there's absolutely no point. Like, just put it down, stop reading if you're not going to apply it. And so, creating spaces where we get to apply it is just totally where I'm at.
This podcast for me has been very much a big experiment in that for nearly 3.5 years. And it's given me the express lane, because having these conversations, even though they're not always in person, it's been rapid. And last year I went over to New Zealand to go be on retreat with Christine Spicer, who's a certified analyst over there. She's a 6/2 reflector. Literally came back in a way completely altered at a really base level because of that experience of being in aura with others, to being actively initiated. Even though, I've been in design for a while, it was like, this is a different level of being. This is a different level of frequency shifting in me. And I couldn't get to it, what had happened, but at a core level. So, I really
the mind
hear you. It does, but it's just like I just was properly initiated. I had a frequency shift where it really, because I'd been trying to get out of my head for a couple of years, and I knew that this was the way forward. And so doing that, it was just like, boom, there it is. And I'm like, that's where it's at. So it was huge. Still can't bring the words to it because I don't need to, but my body.
Thank you for trying, though. That's like, thank you for trying. This feels like, this was Ra's words were that human design is a cellular transformation. It's not a book. It's not audios. It's a cellular transformation. There are no words for that. And like, it's even, I don't know, before human design, I was already in a world where there were no words, and someone gave me the word ineffable. And so I have used that in human design because it's the only word that makes any sense. But even that, it's beyond. It really, like, to have the cellular experience of it, there are no words. Like, all we can say is that. And it's so beautiful to I love people trying to express that. It really feels to me like, it's that. You get it. So life gets easy and fun, and we get to play.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. It's pre-verbal. We can't get words.
Yeah, it's body.
And that's why and we're so excited to have you come down here to Australia for the conference this year. And one of the reasons we started that, and even though it's kind of a little bit more formal, I suppose, in a way, it's still a gathering of people to kind of share themselves openly and be themselves. And we really experienced that last year, and we're looking forward to having that again this year, of people going, oh my God, I can be here. And it's like, yeah, you can. Yeah, you can.
Oh,
all of you can be here, or however much of you want can be here.
Yeah, what you're ready for is there for you. Yeah, I'm really excited to be joining you this year. Thank you so much for having me. Amazing.
So have you got any beautiful retreats coming up or anything? Because I know that you were sharing some of those.
Well, actually, my latest thing I'd like to share is that I've started, this is making me laugh because, just to be clear, anyone listening, this doesn't feel like I'm doing anything. And my mind is currently laughing at me for this next thing I'm going to tell you, but it's been phenomenally transformational already. It's just been a month now, but I am attempting to fill a gap of all of the things that I've been sharing, but trying to bring it into a more regular space and online. Aura does transcend the online space. I don't care what they say. That's definitely my experience. So I have started an online network. I like a good 4-6. And that feels really like, I mean, these are the sorts of conversations that are happening in there. I'm doing some teaching, but it's the living. It's the showing up and sharing the depth of what is deconditioning and all of the real life experiences that go on. And that, I don't know. I mean, of course, you don't quite see them on social media because no one's quite courageous or vulnerable enough to be that open. And so, yeah, that's what I am being forced to do, it feels like. And so, yeah, that's happening. What else is happening? No, I don't have anything crazy on the calendar right now. I mean, my next big stop is Australia. It's not going to be far off. So, apart from, yeah, I mean, I'm always running local events, but so if anyone wants to come to Central Portugal, but yeah, I feel more like having those ongoing connections at the moment. And then, of course, they'll be the first people invited to when I do the next thing. That's
and
what's
just
going on.
Piggybacking. That's coming. It doesn't sound right. Piggybacking on what you were saying there before, what we're sharing about facilitation and having that emotional depth and wisdom and being just, this is what you're doing. So I feel that anyone who's in that space would really benefit greatly to be able to show themselves, really, really explore and be held. I air quote that, but I feel that. Yeah. So thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it feels so needed, even though my mind feels terrified by it. It does. That's never going to stop. My body is so peaceful this last month again, I'm really getting to, I'm design motivation. I'm getting to preach and be and really in the depth of the experience. So yeah, thanks for letting me share about that. That's cool.
You're welcome. Mm-hmm. You're a gift to the world.
Oh,
yeah, I just la la. That's going to be in my mind now. I'm going to hear that. I'm going to go, I need to practice my la la. And it'll be like crickets.
Hello. Oh, yeah. I mean, after so many years of my creativity being squashed or unseen, which is the opposite manifesto experience, I really am I'm embracing now. A lot of la going on over here.
Yeah. Do you feel, and just a last question, because I felt this, it's like we as women, I see it time and time again, the older we get, it's just the more the mask comes off, the more the filter comes off. I even look at the older women in my life, the 70, 80-year-old, they'll just call shit like it is. And I think, wow, but I've felt that. And I'm sure you've been feeling that too. There's something that really shifts in us around that 40 that just starts to, we start to step more into ourselves.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, wow. Yeah, you're preaching my truth right now. I'm about 3 months out from my Uranus opposition. I feel like that's the cycle you're referring to right there. And for sure, like the foxometer is just 0. It's like done. None of that anymore. Rebirth time. It's the next phase. It's very exciting. Yeah.
9 year. This is a rebirth year. Oh, well, can you please share with my little community how people can get in touch with you if you don't mind? I would love that.
Absolutely. In most of the places in the digital scape, you can find me at Lady Cat the Magnificent, at Lady Cat the Magnificent with underscores, or Cat at My Name is Cat Smith. That is also available to you. Yeah, you'll find me there. Search Lady Cat.
I'm borrowing your throat right now, so that I can have.
I love the reflection. You're a great reflector.
Thank you. I've been like this all my life.
So good. Yeah, Lady Cat. And, I also like to share, actually, don't be afraid to message me, because that's a manifestor thing. If you have questions or you want to send me a voice note or any of the things, I'm not here to respond. It might take me a while to get back to you, but I am open to hearing from you. Yeah.
Thank people you. I really value that, because I do have manifestors who say that it's okay. You can message me.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You can message. Just do it. I mean, the mechanic there is to do it without expectation. You can practice. You can practice that. Everyone can. You're good at that. I know this already, but others can practice that. I'm going to message Lady Cat and just see what happens and not have any expectations. That would be a good experiment.
Yeah, there we go. Get experimenting, people.
Yeah.
More experimentation, please. More fucking around and finding out.
I'm up for it. It's awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for gifting me your time, your lalas.
Yeah.
And I look forward to seeing you in person in just a couple of months.
Yeah, me too.
Give me a big hug.
Yeah. Thank you so much for having me. Super. I feel beautiful right now. That's on you. Thank you.